most up-to-date news around the clock. I'm Andrew Card.
I'm Eric Green. Coming up on the 6 o'clock news, what is this new business technology called blockchain, and how can we use it to our advantage? We have specialists on the scene getting the latest and greatest info for our nightly news. Blockchain is a very complex issue, so we'll hash out the details later. But first, I want to take you to our vocabulary analyst, Ben Bedosky, for some key terms that you need to know.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. My name is Ben Bedosky, and I'm well known around Rochester for being a blockchain vocabulary specialist. Today, I'm going to run you through some complex terms that I think are necessary for you to understand before we dive further into the topic of blockchain. First, blockchain. No, blockchain is not just blocks and chains.
Oh, that's not what blockchain is?
Blockchain is a shared ledger where transactions are permanently recorded by appending blocks. The blockchain serves as a historical record of all transactions that have ever occurred on the chain. From the Genesis block, the beginning block, to the latest block, the most recent transaction that has occurred, hence the name blockchain. Furthermore, what is a block? A block is a package of data that is permanently carried on the blockchain network. Next, a digital signature. A digital signature is a digital code generated by a public key encryption that is attached to an electronically transmitted document to verify its contents and the sender's identity. Next, distributed ledgers. A distributed ledger is a type of database that is spread across multiple sites, countries, or institutions. Distributed ledger data can be either permissioned or unpermissioned to control who can view it. Next, we have hashing functions. The hash function transforms this digital signature, then both the hash value and signature are sent to the receiver. This is a way to verify these transactions. The receiver uses the same hash function to generate the hash value and then compares it to the received one with the message. If the hash values are the same, it is likely that the message was transmitted without errors. Therefore, we can verify that the transaction is real and accurate. Now, let's talk about mining. Mining is the process by which transactions are verified and added to a blockchain. This process of solving cryptographic problems using computers hardware also triggers the release of cryptocurrencies, which we will discuss further. Node. A node is any computer that connects to the blockchain network. And remember, if a new computer is added to the chain, a new node is added to the blockchain. Private key. A private key is a string of data that shows you have access to bitcoins in a specific wallet. Private keys can be thought of as a password. Private keys must be never revealed to anyone but yourself, as they allow you to spend bitcoins or whatever is on the blockchain through a cryptographic signature. And lastly, we have a couple more terms. One of them is transaction block. A transaction block is a collection of transactions on the network, gathered all into one block that can be hashed and added to the blockchain. Lastly, transaction fee. And this one is interesting. All cryptocurrencies involve a small transaction fee. It's not very large, and it's not even close to what the charges that third parties can charge us when transferring money. These transaction fees add up to an account for the block reward that a miner receives when he successfully processes a block. So if a miner gets a new block onto the blockchain, he has the ability to get a reward in the form of currency. And that is it for our vocab terms. Now I'll turn it over to our anchors.
So now that you know some of the key terms, we can give you some details about what blockchain is. Let me tell you, this stuff is off the chain. Recent reports have told us that blockchain is the future of business, that in 5 to 10 years, every aspect of life will be associated with blockchain in some way. But do we really know what blockchain is? Well, we asked some passersby on the street what they thought blockchain was.
See what some people think about blockchain. Hey, sir, I see that you're free. So can you tell me a little bit? Tell me a little bit about blockchains. What you know about it?
No, I have no clue what they are.
Come on, you gotta know something.
Dude, it's like, it's a receipt of some sort. I mean, that's the general knowledge that I have of it.
All right, well, thank you. That's more people about blockchains. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on?
What if you tell us a little bit about blockchain for people back home?
Oh, blockchains?
Yeah.
You know, I've had a lot of experience in blockchains.
Okay.
A lot of different areas of my work with them every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can, just talking about it, I can just envision it
Okay.
right here because
Yeah.
of how much I know.
Here,
about
Matt.
it.
Yo,
Oh,
check
there's
this
my
out.
phone. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tyler. Blockchain is actually an incorruptible digital ledger of economic transactions that can be programmed to record not just financial transactions, but virtually everything of value.
Wow, that's a really intelligent answer. Thank you,
Yeah,
Matt.
you
I
know,
appreciate it.
yeah.
Appreciate your time.
Oh, from up here.
So, I am here with a random civilian from the street. Can you state your name for the camera?
Doug.
I'm here with Doug, and we just have a few questions for you, Doug.
Sure.
First question. Do you know what blockchain is?
I do not.
You do not know what blockchain is. Have you ever heard the term blockchain?
Yeah.
You've heard of it?
Yeah.
Can you tell me anything you know about blockchain?
I feel like it's like I've heard it in like operations, business, like and running operations of business.
Okay, you're not wrong about that. And is that the extent of your knowledge about blockchain?
Yeah, for the most part.
And where did you hear about blockchain? What can you pinpoint a source?
Sounds familiar to something I might have heard about in a class.
In a class, okay. All right, well, thank you. That's all the time we have for you today, Doug. Really appreciate your cooperation. So, as you can see, everyone has a different idea of what blockchain is, if any at all. Our team is on a special case to tell you everything you need to know. So, blockchain, in its simplest form, is a peer-to-peer accounting ledger which is decentralized. This means that any transfers of property and money do not need to go through a bank or a third party. It can occur directly between two parties. So to demonstrate this, imagine each of these cell phones is a node in the blockchain. And imagine this mug is the central authority, so a bank or a financial institution. Before the blockchain, if I had some money and I wanted to transfer it to Andrew, I would have to put it into the bank. The bank would take its own little share, and it would come back to Andrew. Now, without a blockchain, or without a central authority, the blockchain makes it a peer-to-peer ledger. So this transaction could go directly to Andrew. And the reason that's possible is because all of the nodes in the blockchain have to validate a transaction. So if I was getting greedy and I decided I wanted to keep a little bit for myself or make a fraudulent transaction, TJ over here would not be able to validate that block because it's not a valid transaction. So this decentralized peer-to-peer ledger is tamper resistant and prevents any kind of fraud. So now you know what blockchain is. But the next step in understanding it is learning how it's being used in the real world. There are many uses of blockchain, making different types of processes easier for businesses and people. One use is emerging in the medical field. Blockchain makes it very easy for medical patients to view their claims, medical history, transactions, and overdue payments. And that information would be securely shared with medical professionals and easily transferable to new doctors should you switch. Oh, here's another one. Do you have a Fitbit? Well, health information from common devices like Fitbits and pacemakers send and receive information from a decentralized ledger, a blockchain. Another practical use is blockchain in banking. In 2018, Barclays Bank became a pioneer in blockchain banking by initiating a blockchain-based financial transaction, which included the first documentation to be encrypted and managed on a blockchain network. Using a decentralized ledger saved the company a lot of time and money, and it alerted a lot of other financial giants of the competitive advantage they could have by using a blockchain.
Hi, my name is Bedosky, and I'm going to be talking about the strengths of blockchain. So, blockchain technology has the ability to eliminate third parties to intercept between the transfer of money from one party to another. Eric talked about this a little bit, but it's very significant because in today's current world, we have issues where if one party wants to send money to another, there's a third party in the middle that's going to take a chunk of change out. With blockchain, a huge strength is it eliminates this problem. Furthermore, due to this technology being an open and distributed ledger, meaning everyone on the blockchain has the ability to see all transactions that have gone on the blockchain, due to the technology being an open ledger, everyone on the network can see and authenticate the transactions and prove the amount and number that are occurring. Furthermore, this allows everyone included in the blockchain to decide whether a new block or a new transaction being added to the chain is valid or not. This is important in audit trails because we can trace back transactions knowing that they're valid and true. Blockchain runs off a distributed network, so everyone on the network can obtain a copy of all transactions that have occurred on the blockchain on their very own node. This improves the aspect of transparency as far as the transfer of wealth. Since the technology has this ability, it eliminates the need for a centralized network. If a miner has the ability to validate a new transaction going onto the blockchain and use computational power to solve the key, they are the first person that will add a block to the chain and they can receive a financial reward. To the factor of authentication, blockchain also has the strength because the process of adding a block to the chain involves an extensive process of authorization. Thus, fake or fraudulent transactions are highly eliminated. Then again, improving authentication. Fraud is very hard to occur on the blockchain. Blockchain is versatile. It can be used for areas such as the drug business or healthcare. You can upload health documents, records, and it all will be distributed and everyone can have it. So it makes healthcare very easy and it's a huge help. Blockchain can assist in the supply chain management process by using transparency recorded and documented information that can be accessed to monitor cost and timeliness throughout the whole entire supply chain process. Again, this can save businesses huge amounts of money. Due to this transparency, once again, these same companies can verify the fair trade status of certain products. So suppliers can't overcharge to one retailer and undercharge for another. Everything is transparent and everyone can see. So nothing can be unfair and everything can be equal. In new IoT products, companies are using blockchain to eliminate the need for a centralized location to handle communication needs. By using the decentralized platform to communicate, update software, manage bugs, and monitor energy usage. Thank you, and we'll be back to talk about the weaknesses. So after hearing about all these different strengths, positives, scalability, transparency, all these amazing things about blockchain, you may be asking, well, what are the weaknesses? Because there's got to be some weaknesses. Well, there are, and I will be discussing them with you momentarily. First, I'd like to talk about the fact of privacy in regards to blockchain. Now, due to blockchain being a distributed ledger, everyone who is in the network on each node can see other people's financial transactions. In this case, your privacy is limited. Although in blockchain, there is some ways to encrypt certain keys so only certain people can see transactions, it still factors in the idea that privacy is limited. Moving on, creating a new blockchain on the ledger results in competing against other miners who are trying to be the first ones to encrypt the new transactions. Due to there being a financial reward, it creates a high level of competition, but also the use of extensive computing power to solve these keys. Moving forward, blockchain eliminates the need for auditors because the blockchain is constantly being audited by itself. So we fear that the auditing profession will be changed and potential loss or jobs will be lost. Next, blockchain does not give customers protection. Settlements are low, and due to growing blockchain size, it'll eventually become expensive, some researchers say. Also, lastly, blockchain is still in the process of being updated and created. Knowing this, safety is an issue, and some of these issues can be seen with Bitcoin. But that's all we have time for today. Thank you.
At this point in the newscast, I'm going to send it over to our blockchain expert, who I cannot name for security reasons, but he's going to give you some in-depth detail about blockchain in the world.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am an expert on this new innovative technology called blockchain. My co-stars tonight have done an amazing job telling you of the strengths and the weaknesses of this new technology. I have focused my work on two different aspects completely. Many of you have heard the stories tonight of the potentials of this technology and where it could go in the future. Some of these things that could be coming in the future is you can use blockchain to actually ID people at the bar, which may seem scary, but it's actually not that bad because blockchain, as we have talked about earlier, is very secure. However, none of this could be possible if we don't address the two main ideas that I have studied, which is awareness and sustainability, or scalability. First, we need to develop the awareness of blockchain. My colleagues and I have dedicated our whole lives to learning and understanding blockchain. It's easy to see why blockchain is not at its full potential because simply not enough people know about it. There are 7.5 billion people in the world, but before this newscast tonight, how many of you honestly have ever heard blockchain? I remember when I first learned about blockchain back in college at St. John Fisher College. My professor, Omar Watts, taught us a lot in our AIS class, and we also had to do a group project on it, and we got an A. The second and most dangerous problem to blockchains right now is that they're not scalable. Again, we'll look at cryptocurrencies. The problem facing them is that they're not able to handle numerous transactions at one time. Again, we'll look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now can only handle 3 to 4 transactions per second. This is not good because if blockchain wants to go mainstream and become the new economical center for the world, they're going to need to process hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. Ethereum has a very similar problem to Bitcoin. Their co-founder admitted that they are only able to handle 15 transactions per second, which is better than Bitcoin, but still isn't enough. If these problems aren't addressed soon, the consequences will be far-reaching and will take longer and longer to process transactions on blockchains, and people could move away from using blockchain technology. In a digital world, payments can almost be sent and received instantaneously. If blockchain is going to be a viable alternative, they need to offer the same transaction ability as these services, like you can see on your own bank. You can transfer money from your checking to your saving almost instantly. If blockchain can't do something like this, they'll never make it in the market.
Hey, whoa, what are you doing in here? Wait, you're not allowed in here. All right, don't look. You got to get out, but now at this point in the broadcast, we are going to send it over to Cards Corner, where Andrew's going to tell you about how blockchain is revolutionizing the accounting industry.
Welcome to Cards Corner, and today I'm going to tell you how blockchain technology can revolutionize the accounting industry. Blockchain has the possibility to completely revolutionize industry, especially accounting. One key subsection of accounting that may change drastically is auditing. Performing confirmations of a company's financial status will be less necessary if some or all the transactions that underlie the status are visible on blockchains. This proposal will mean a profound change in the way audits work. Blockchains could help with the transaction level assertions involved in audit, meaning that the auditors would have more time to consider big picture ideas. In simple terms, accountants could easily just run blockchain solution to instantaneously pull data from all the company's financial statements. In fact, according to KPMG, a Big Four accounting firm, they believe that some work such as reconciliations and provenance assurance would be reduced or eliminated. Blockchain can help accountants with more than just auditing. With proper blockchain technology, it will completely revolutionize the accounting world and get rid of double entry accounting. To folks at home that don't know what double entry accounting is, it is an over 500-year standard accounting method that involves recording each transaction in at least 2 accounts, resulting in a debit to 1 or more accounts and a credit to 1 or more accounts. Blockchain technology will allow transactions to be directly recorded into a joint register. Back to you, Eric. Thank you for watching News 360.
Now you're no longer the new kids on the blockchain.
And now we node blockchains. I'm Andrew Card.
I'm Eric Green, and on behalf of our colleagues, Ben Bedosky and the blockchain guy, thank you, and have a good night.
Saw some more people about blockchains.
It's actually pretty nice. Yeah.
Hey man, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on?
So I wonder if you can answer a few questions about blockchain. So what do you think a blockchain is? Tell people back
blockchain.
home.
Oh, I've heard a lot of things about blockchains. You know, known about it my whole life. I can definitely describe how it is to you.
Yes. What is it?
In real detail.
Okay.
I can just do it whenever.
All right. Yeah.
You're supposed to give me the phone.
Yo, let's do that one real quickly. That's funny shit.
I was like, yeah, definitely not. I'm like, give me the phone.
Let's ask someone else about blockchains. What's up, Matt? How's it going? So I was wondering what you know about blockchains. If you could tell the people back home.
Actually, yo, Matt, here, check this out.
Oh, I know what a blockchain is. It's an incorruptible
I gotta keep that for the blooper now. I wrote that.
Holy shit, it zooms in a lot.